Hey there, how's it going? This is Chris, or Blue. Welcome to You Can Blues live Twitch and stream. I'm going to be doing some broadcasting over the next hour. I'm doing a little bit of building, a little bit of game dev stuff. Might be 90 minutes, don't know really. So just sit back and enjoy. If you come over to either Twitch TV or via our website over at youcanblue.com, you can talk live to us and enjoy the music. Just a selection of nice music that we've got here. I'm just going to hide the taskbar, which is there we go, that one. That way, more screen real estate. If you want to see my ugly mug, you can even do that. Hello. Okay, let's get going. So the whole plan today is I'm going to be working on an exit sign. I've already built one, but that was before I formatted my computer, so I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to turn down the music a little bit. There we go. Easier to concentrate. Got a nice loop going on there. Now, thinking in the scale of centimetres, the exit sign that I want shouldn't be too large. So we're looking at a block probably about 1.5 feet by probably about, I don't know, 30 centimetres, maybe 25 centimetres. Now the good thing about units in 3ds Max going over to Unreal Engine is that we can do this. Basically, units go unit for centimetre, so watch. If I just drop the height segs down to 1, and we have an overall, I'll use width for this one, let's say 45 centimetres. Okay, we're going to give it a height of maybe 25 centimetres. And then we're going to give it an overall width of say 20 centimetres. Okay, so that's as big as the word, well, the box that's going to have the word exit written on it. I think I don't want it square. I might just reduce the length there just a little bit. There we go, just make it a little more thin, as it were. Okay, so this is our starting place. Now, I want to convert this to an editable polygon, and I'm going to call this sign 01. Okay, easy as that. Right, I'm just going to take my ugly mug off the broadcast stream so you don't have to enjoy it. There we go. Now, I'm just going to zero this. If I just come across for a second here to my talking head page, one of the problems with using pre-made assets is that everything looks the same. However, one of the benefits of using pre-made assets is that you don't have to build assets, which takes time. Obviously, a lot of people are really into the game development thing because they can throw a load of assets on the screen and build themselves a game really quickly. The problem with this is that, as I've said, one, it's going to look like everyone else's piece of work. Two, there's going to be a lot of disparity between the pieces that you build. If you buy yourself, you know, an object pack, like I bought the Realistic Rocks pack, so if you have the Realistic Rocks pack and then you start mixing that up with, for example, the Steampunk pack, which I also have, you'll find that there's a lot of resolution differences between the two of them. The textures are set up differently, so one of them tends to look a lot more low resolution than the other one does. If you make stuff yourself, obviously you have the benefit that you know what the resolution or textile density of your model is going to be, coupled with the fact that if you're using your own style, obviously, you know, the pieces are going to fit together more naturally, more ergonomically, as I always said. So anyway, let's get back to this. So here's our box, and what I'm going to do is just, it's already an editable poly. I don't need any state sets for this. I'm going to bring this across because I haven't used Max since I formatted, which is worrying. And I'm going to go straight in here into edge mode, go straight down the middle and do a connect. Now, if you've never used 3ds Max, there's plenty of great tutorials out there that can help you, not least of which are my own tutorials. Some of which are free, some of which are commercial. if you don't like paying to improve your own education, then, you know, seriously, dude, you've got some way to go yet. Anyway, I'm just trying to get the top here into a box shape, yeah? So, there we go. And once I've done that, I'm going to go to poly mode, grab here and grab here. And I'm just going to inset these. So, okay. And then I am going to extrude them up. Because you always get kind of things hanging from these bars, you know. Now this is too wide, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to inset these a bit more. There, that's better. And extrude those up. Like that. Now I'm going to do what's known as a zero height extrude. Benefit of this is that I'll be able to then bring these out to reverse what I just did there. Another thing I could also do is I could duplicate these polygons, drag them up and flip them. I tell you what, actually I don't normally do that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete these top polygons and then I'm going to just select these ones like so. Now I don't know if there's anyone in the Twitch chat, but if there is, hello, and if there isn't, man, it's lonely in here, so you know, take that as you will. Anyway, these fellas here, and I'm just going to hold shift while I drag that, and I'm just going to get it right up to the top there. See where you can just see the edge starting to appear. Clone it to an element like so. There we go. Okay, then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this. Pow. Okay, now at the minute these two things aren't connected, but I would like them to be. So if I just go here to vertex mode, select all my verts, and then just do a weld before 48, after 40. If that hadn't worked, I just increase my threshold, but I want them nice and close together, as you can probably see. Okay, next I'm going to select this border. Okay, so that's the outside edge there. I'm just going to bring it up like that, and I'm going to use a scale. Let's bring it out a little bit. Okay, because I quite like the fact that it kind of spreads out there. Okay, like a nice chamfer. Okay, next I'm going to border the top here. Now don't be tempted to just go, oh, select all this lot and then hit cap, okay? Because you don't have a quad here. What you have is, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 sides on this polygon, and your game engine will triangulate this itself, but overall not a great idea. You want to triangulate this. Well, you want this to be quads so that the triangulation when it goes into the game is more natural. So, no, not natural, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm going to use the bridge tool, and I can just bridge from here to here, then here to here, and here to here. You may notice this is all very low polygon at the moment, yeah. Don't worry, we're going to increase the amount of polygons very soon. Okay, now, the words on the sign that are going to appear here, normally what happens is there's an inset area with some glass and a light bulb inside it and stuff, and some cables and some wires. So that's what we need to focus on here. So I'm just going to bring in, I don't want to adjust anything, so I'll press Q, so I'm just on selecting select rather than selecting scale. I want to bring in these parts. Again, I'm going to use the inset. There's a couple of options I can use here. I can bevel it as well if I wanted to. I'm just going to inset it for the moment, just like that. That'll give us a nice border. Now I can use the bevel. Bring it in a little bit like that. Okay, so now we have these separate areas, and I'm just going to bring it back a little teeny bit more like that. Okay, so I've just brought it back using the bevel, but I haven't actually inset it. Okay, this is a good place for us to kind of start from, alright? Now, if I go to my tools, which are here, and I just go to my polygon count tool, which is there, you will see that we've not really hit a lot of polygons there. Now, if you're going for ultra low polygon counts, then this is where you'd go, well, call on this a day, and you know, we'd unwrap it and take it into the game engine, and you'd be very pleased with yourself. If we want to increase the polygon count, we can. Now, there are some sensible limits, and really they're kind of defined by yourself. It all depends on how many polygons you really want to put into this, based upon as well how many polygons the game engine can take. Now, this isn't a hero piece, this is just a sign, so I wouldn't give this more than like 1,500 polygons tops in a good game engine. 192 polygons here, that's really okay if you're going for very low polygon counts. I mean, you could probably even cull a few more polygons if you really had to, by, I don't know, removing these 3 and just welding this lot together. Well, 4. However, I'm going to make this a little bit higher polygon because that's what I like to do. So, if I just grab this and this, and, pardon me, one of the things I could do is I could mesh smooth this, you see. Now, the amount of mesh smoothing is, see if you can notice what's happened there. I think you can, eh? Yeah, that's right. These are all triangulated, no quads, and it's bending in at the middle there, which is not really something that we want. So if we wanted to increase the amount of polygons, what we could do is instead take these away completely, and you're like, well, we just built those, why are we doing that? And Control A while on border mode, and just cap all of these, and then Control select by polygon, and shrink, and now we've got these ones. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to inset it again just a little bit. Okay. Now what I can do is I can mesh smooth it, and you may notice that, you know, I have this round shape. Okay, we've got triangulation here. Okay, but this is more controlled, and the model's going to be triangulated when it goes into the game engine anyway. So I'm just going to click grow, and now I can delete it. Okay, and that gives us this nice hole here. Now if I just select this one and this one, and just do a bridge, and then this one and this one, do a bridge again. Okay, so now you can see that we have these rounded kind of pieces coming in from here, yeah, which obviously looks a lot better. Okay, now the player's going to be looking at this probably from underneath down here, yeah. So any additional details that we want to put onto this, we're not going to bother putting on the top because the player won't really be able to jump up here. We can put some minor detail, but nothing huge. So press G to get rid of that. Another thing to kind of pay attention to is that in the past it used to be that your game model used to have to be all merged together. Everything used to have to be merged together. We don't really need to do that anymore. It's not essential. Yeah. So for example, and this will cause many a person to go, oh my god, what are you doing? You're insane. What I could do is I could just take these and click detach, okay, and just detach these as an element, so they're still part of the overall mesh. And then I can actually delete all these as well. So if I just go into here, might as well do them all at the same time. Isn't this exciting? Modelling, man. We're making stuff. Okay. And delete. Now, remember what I said? We detach this as an element, which means that all these little islands here are elements too. Goodbye. Now, we don't have any polygons on the top or bottom of these. You can't see it, but this is empty, so that's cool. But what I do have is a bridge that I can put across here. Now remember what I said, the game engine's quite happy having these separated out into different elements, yeah? And it makes our modelling job so much easier as well. Okay, because now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 islands. Yeah, so the unwrapping is going to be a touch easier as well, which is awesome. Okay, next. I want some I want some kind of bolts or screws or something to look like they're holding this together, yeah? So I can build these on the underside, and there's no point going into massive detail while doing it. We only need to do like a little bit of detail and it'll look fine. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a cylinder, and I'm going to use auto grid. I'm just going to pull it out like that. See how it doesn't need to be big? Just a nice little bolt just there. Now for sides, it's low polygon, so we can bring it down to 14. It's not really going to damage our model. Give it one height segment. There we go. Right click, convert to editable polygon, and let's get rid of that polygon that we're never going to see. So I'll grab that and just do a grow, and then Control I will invert my selection, delete. Okay. Next. What I'm going to do now is bring up, I've got the wrong button there, I'm using the keys that I would normally use for Unreal Engine. So that comes to there and to there. And we're just going to copy it. And then I'm going to take them again, hold down Shift, and bring them to about there. Okay, try and get them as even as you can. And click OK. Alright, so when the player's going underneath now, they'll see these and they'll go, oh yeah, that's what they used to, you know, whatever it is they do, attach the bottom on so they can replace the bulb inside the side. Okay, because it's obviously where it says exit or entrance or whatever the heck it is it says. Alright. By the way, I'm not seeing many people shouting hello in the chat, so if you're in the chat, you know, say hello. It'd be nice to see you. You can even say, man, this sucks. We don't care. You know, we're strong people. Now, I want a cable, an electricity cable type thing to come out here, yeah? So, a couple of ways we can do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself a box, like this, watch. Okay, and not delete it straight away afterwards. There we go. And the point of this is that I'll be able to build a spline on top of this box. So let me see, I want to go to here, splines, line. Don't want a lot, but if you look, I just want it where the Z is pointing towards me. And I'm going to bring it up like that. To there. Okay. Now I don't need this anymore, so I can delete it. I do need this though. So I'm going to bring it over to about there. And you're like, well, why have I drawn that teeny weeny spline? Well, I'll show you. If I open up the rendering tab, here we go, and I'm going to click enabling renderer and enabling viewport, and just one moment, right, there we go, there we go. So you can see now we've got this, which is obviously much thicker. We'll make it about a thickness of 1.5, and let me see, there should be an option for how many sides it has. That is 12. I'm going to change that to 16. Okay, a little bit better. You'll notice it's a little bit chunky. Okay, so it's kind of not very smooth in various areas. That's okay, we can fix that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, just open up, go my vertex, and just get rid of some of the verts that I might not need, and reposition some of the ones that I most assuredly do need. And I'm not smoothing this until I'm happy overall with how it looks. I just want the cable to kind of wind around this a little bit. Bring that over to about there. And this too. There we go. So it's just against this. And let's bring this in just a teeny weeny bit. There we go. Okay, so the idea is that it's kind of plugging in down there. And keep that there, I think. Okay, now I'm going to change this to a smooth. There we go. Now I'm going to change this to a smooth as well. like so. And I'll definitely need to change this to a smooth. I don't want that kink in it. Yep, change it to corner, which it already was. Smooth. There we go. Okay, so this is now spreading across to there, and I can bring that down like so, and we have our power cable basically coming out the ceiling now. Why we'd need our power cable coming down like this is anyone's business, but there you go. Just want to make sure that it's actually connecting with the ceiling. There we are, that's much better. Yeah, we've got that teeny little gap here at the top, but we can fix that in just a moment. Bring that up a little bit more. Okay, so we've been doing this for however many minutes, what, 21 minutes, a lot of which was me just waffling, and as you can see we've already got this shape kind of coming together. Need to bring this in here, and this one, see if we can find the vert, there we go. Okay, just check the bottom there. Perfect. Now we don't need too many polygons in this. This thing's generating a lot of polygons and we don't need that many. So firstly, I'm going to take this down to 14, like so. Then we need to reduce the interpolation, which is how many polygons it decides that it's going to stick in there. At the minute interpolation is set at 6. If I set it to 1, you'll see we get that. 2, some smoothness. 2 is what we want. Okay, that reduces the polygon count on this a lot, and it'll make unwrapping quite a lot easier too, probably. So convert to editable polygon. Okay, because we don't need the spline anymore. And